Good afternoon, this is Tamara from Love Dominates. I am making this video today to follow up on my last post. The post was about our child's perception and what their beliefs are. So this topic, I'm going to try to stay on this topic of what our children believe, what they were taught to believe. But first I want to explain the alienator versus the targeted parent. The alienator is the person, the parent, that is alienating the children from the other parent. They're demeaning, they're putting that parent down, they are giving false allegations and misconceptions to the children so that they will hate and dislike the targeted parent. The targeted parent is usually the parent that is the loving parent, that is the parent without the children. So the targeted parent is the innocent parent. The alienated parent is the parent that cannot deal with their own emotions, and they have a lot of hate and anger built up in them, and all they want is revenge against that other parent, and they get the child in the middle. Okay, I want to explain our child's perception of what is going on. Our children believe that we don't love them, that the targeted parent does not care, that we abandoned them, that we rejected them. Those are key words. We rejected them, we abandoned them. You will see that in almost all of the severely alienated families. The reason the children believe this, the alienated parent has put these beliefs in their head. Your child could be as young as, below 10 in their teenage years, or even adult children. But they were brainwashed by either a covert narcissist or the alienated parent. And it's very, very easy to brainwash a child. The reason is, number one, all children trust their parents. They trust their parents to tell them the truth, even though we have situations where parents do not tell the truth. Silently and unknowingly, that alienator puts the fear and guilt into that child to have any kind of emotions or love towards that targeted parent. The alienator also sets up the targeted parent to fail, or they'll put them in situations where the children, or they put them in situations, the targeted parent, in situations to be humiliated by their own children, or humiliated in public, or humiliated around friends and family. So think of what our children are going through. They are actually going through a death of a parent, even though that parent's alive. And also that targeted parent is going through the death of their children, even though their children are alive. So it's a very hard thing to swallow. It's very hard for a normal parent to understand the situation. If you think about what the child is experiencing and how damaging that is to a child, it's emotional, psychological abuse. They will never, ever be able to have relationships, whether it is, in a marriage, in society, in a job, because they have been taught to lie, to manipulate, to use false allegations, to control people. It's very heart-wrenching. But I had such a good response on this, I just felt that I needed to explain the perception of the child. The child believes the targeted parent doesn't love them, that we rejected them, that we abandoned them, and we did not. And for the targeted parent, what we have to get over is overlooking what our children were taught to do. Our children were taught to demean us, to put us down, to be disrespectful, to say awful, horrific things to a parent, even though they love us. Know this, your child loves you. They are just in fear to show any kind of emotion, any kind of love towards that targeted parent. The targeted parent is that parent that is loving and has that unconditional love. The alienated parent usually is the narcissist or the mentally ill person. Someone that has taught that alienated parent, if you look back at their childhood, they either had a childhood trauma or they were taught these behaviors by their parents. So, in other words, look into your mother-in-law or your father-in-law. Do they control them? How did they raise them? Did they have rules? Did they discipline their children? Did they hold your ex-spouse accountable for his actions? Or is it the complete opposite and they were never held accountable? They can do no wrong. They have some kind of entitlement or ego issues. I mean, these are just a few signs that you can look for. Do they have abandonment issues? So, to give you an example, in my own situation, my children's grandmother, my mother-in-law, would put fear in her son. Once I got married, you're going to go to her side of the family. You're going to abandon me. How dare you leave the state? You're leaving me, your mother. So these are just some signs, and they're learned behaviors, and somebody has to stop those learned behaviors, because now they're going on to your kids. So any parent that would teach a child or tell a child that that other parent doesn't love them, that parent needs help. That is awful. It is wrong. That parent doesn't love themselves. So, or they only love themselves, I should say. But the damage it does to a child is unrepairable. It really is. Anyway, I hope this helps. This was going to the post that was put up today on July 27th, 2018. So I hope it helps. All right, love dominates. Love dominates.